Okay, in this series of videos, I'm going to attempt to talk about a book that I picked up. I was fortunate to find this in a Goodwill store, and I think I paid only $2 for it. The Curse of Canaan, a Demonology History by Eustace Mullins. So what I'm going to try to do is talk a little bit about the contents of the book and go over it with you. I'm not going to read the book to you. So there will be some of my own interpretation in this. There will be some of my own bias, and there will be some of my own errors, perhaps. But this is an attempt to just try to bring to you the content of the book, The Curse of Canaan, a Demonology of History by Eustace Mullins. Okay, Eustace will start talking about an Arcadian scene, and he will use the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican as an example of this. Now, this is my comment. Those of you that know history has been hoaxed on us, the Sistine Chapel is probably just another Masonic hoax with the invention of a Masonic character by Michelangelo. But nevertheless, Eustace Mullins will use this concept of Arcadia. And Arcadia literally is a mountain region in southern Greece. Now, in poetic fantasy, it represents a pastoral paradise where there are song-loving shepherds. And in Greek mythology, it is the home of Pan. Now, none of that content is in the book. I'm just explaining it to you in case you're not familiar with the term Arcadia and Arcadian. Eustace Mullins starts out trying to tell us that we're unable to recognize evil. Now, why are we unable to recognize evil? Because evil is in disguise. Now, this is not in Eustace Mullins' book. I'm only trying to illustrate the concept, so please don't look for it in his book. But for example, something called the Patriot Act. And as soon as you hear that term, your mind will say that must be wonderful because it has the word patriot in it. However, if you begin to unravel the Patriot Act, you will realize that it's just evil in disguise. Now, many, many, many of these acts are given names that cause people to think they're wonderful. And the one that I've harped on a lot is called the Smith-Mont Modernization Act. And it sounds wonderful because it's modernized. But what it is it is the taking of all media and putting it in the control of the government and granting to every source of media here in the United States to use propaganda against the American people. In other words, the permission to lie, and to lie, and to lie. Now this doesn't sink into the population, and I've tried and tried and tried to tell people propaganda is legal. Now these are just examples. They're not in Mullins' books. It's my example. So evil is in disguise. Now he also says that we've learned to tolerate evil. In other words, people just don't get too upset about things anymore these days. My example, not Eustace Mullins' example, abortion. It is so downright evil to rip out human life from the womb of a woman. It is beyond my comprehension how, as a society, we have learned to tolerate it. Now that's my example, not Eustace Mullins. So, we're going to go now to approximately page 2 in the book, and that was pretty much page 1. So I'm going to go to page 2, and I apologize for the noises. This is kind of a primitive setup, and I'm not the best. I don't do a lot of editing, but I'm trying to give good content for you, my viewers. So please tolerate me, and don't, by the way, don't tolerate evil. Just tolerate me. All right, so now about page 2, the Curse of Canaan, Mullins is going to tell us like what has been the biggest concept or philosophy or whatever that has put this all sort of under its umbrella, and that is secular humanism. Now, if you can take the word secular and just sort of say, basically, it's the removal of God and the removal of Bible. And you can go back in time to when the public schools removed the Bible. Yes, that was a big, major event for us because it was basically saying that no longer is education based on Bible, and no longer is society to be structured on Bible, but it will be structured on humanism. Now, humanism is the idea of always putting human interest first and at the center of everything. Okay? Now, Mullins will go into something that maybe a lot of you are familiar with, and that is the Nephilim. Now the Nephilim come into Bible history in Genesis chapter 6, verse 4, where the sons of God, which are demonic entities, have relations with the daughters of men. In other words, it's like a hybrid. It's like a crossbreeding between human beings and demonic entities. And out of that crossbreeding came strong men, mighty men. Now this isn't Mullins' comment, but it's mine. It all makes perfect sense to me, because if you study the mythology of Greece and Rome, you will see the products of these Nephilim, which we call mythology. But most likely what we call mythology was reality. In other words, those things that are studied under Greek mythology or Roman mythology actually did exist. Now that makes a lot of sense to me. And I was very, very confused in life about these types of things until finally I got hold of the idea of the Nephilim, or the mighty ones. Now Mullins will say that basically they're behind everything, the Nephilim. And what happens is this. Secret societies are interested in contacting demonic entities in any shape or form. And they have different branches of different expertise in contacting these demonic entities. Now that is true because secret is basically occult. And occult in the Latin is hidden. And that's why you must pledge silence, because it is all about keeping your mouth shut as to why things work out so well for you in the secret society. Now this is my comment, that basically secret societies are like prayer groups. Now I'm not trying to mock or anything prayer groups, because absolutely every individual in church needs a prayer group. But the secret societies are like reverse prayer groups. They're not praying to the one true God. They are praying to Lucifer to send his angels to get what they want. And once again, it's an exchange. The demons will give things out to people if they get certain things. And what are they going to get out of it is they disguise evil and they bring evil in the world. So yes, hidden societies, secret societies are spreading evil. And they are right in your town or city in the United States. They are right in your town or city anywhere in the world. And the largest perpetrator of this, of course, is the group that we know as the Masons and all their offshoots. So the next area we're going to go into is the flood. And God decides that basically everyone needs to be wiped out. And the ark, Eustace Mullins will tell us on page 8, is the greatest engineering feat of all times. So I think I'm going to stop here right now. I got to do about page 6. And I'll try to keep these videos within a certain time frame. But once again, you've been watching and listening to some type of analysis of the curse of Canaan, a demonology of history. Now I like the way he worded that, a demonology of history, not a history of demonology. What he's trying to tell us is, if you really want to know true history, it's all about the work of demons among us and how they've deceived. And the author is Eustace Mullins, and I'm just trying to provide a basic outline of what he has said in his book, and then give you some of my thoughts and my commentary on it. So I'd like to thank you for watching this, and stay tuned. We're just in chapter 1 of this book, and I'll try to work through it. Thank you. End of video.